go to section 4.2 in your notes and look at example 1. For part A, it says to add these two polynomials in vertical format. So what that means is we're going to actually set up the equations here. We're going to match up 3x to the third, and I'm going to rewrite the second polynomial underneath. So I have x to the third minus 10x squared plus 8. And I'm going to leave a little space because the 8 and the negative 7 go together, and there's no x term to be combined. So I'll get 4x to the third minus 8x squared minus x plus 1. And that's my final answer. Looking at part B, if I add them in a horizontal format, I'm just combining them. So I'm just adding the first polynomial with the second polynomial. And we want to combine like terms. So 9y to the third has no like terms, so that stays the same. 3y squared plus negative 5y squared is negative 2y squared. Negative 2y plus y is minus 1y. And 1 plus negative 4 is minus 3. And there's our answer for part B. Looking at example 2, this is subtracting. So if we want to subtract vertically, that means up and down, we're subtracting the first polynomial from the second. So I'm going to put the one I circled below the second one. So 2x to the third plus 6x squared minus x plus 1. And I'm subtracting it, so I'm going to put it in parentheses and make a negative here. Now you could also just say plus negative, make that plus, and make that negative. You can change all the signs. That might be another way you want to do this. So now looking down, I have 8x to the third minus 2x to the third. I have negative 3x squared minus 6x squared. And I have negative 2x plus x. And then my final answer is here. If we want to do this vertically, I would say 2z squared plus 3z minus 3z squared plus z minus 4. So I'm subtracting the first polynomial from the second. So when I combine like terms here, I've got 2z squared minus 3z squared. So maybe change that. Change your signs here. So you'd get negative z squared. Then we have 3z and negative z, so plus 2z. Then we have just 4. So there's my answer for part B in example 2. Looking at example 3, we see we're going to multiply polynomials. I don't generally like to multiply them vertically. I always put them in parentheses and just multiply them horizontally. So that's up to you, and you can look in the book if you want to see the vertical way to do this. But I'm just going to use my distributive method here and make sure I distribute every term to the x and the negative 3. So I'm going to have negative x to the third plus 3x squared plus 2x squared minus 6x plus 4x minus 12. And then just combine like terms to get your final answer. So this should be your final answer for example 3. Check to make sure you have the same work as me. Looking at example 4, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply x minus 1 times x plus 4 times x plus 5. So when I do that, I'm going to distribute or use FOIL to get the first part, and I'll get x squared minus x plus 4x, so plus 3x minus 4. That's what I get when I FOIL these first two. And then I'm going to multiply that by x plus 5, just like I did in example 3. So from here, I start to multiply each of these values. So make sure you distribute to everything, and then my final answer when I combine like terms should be x to the third plus 8x squared plus 11x minus 20. Make sure you bring your notes to class tomorrow and write down your example 4.